Welcome to the New Orleans Jazz Pop Harp Series. Today we will be presenting a class by Louisiana harpist Jessie Autumn. The subject is basic improv patterns in 5/4 time. Jessie teaches private classes online. You can reach her directly at jessieautumnmusic.com. You can watch a performance video by Jessie Autumn on our New Orleans Chapter AHS YouTube page. Please subscribe to our series to get updates on future classes.
Hi, I'm Jessie Autumn, and this is the New Orleans Jazz Pop Harp Weekend YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more educational harp videos like this. So today I'm going to show you a technique for writing and composing in 5 using a simple pattern in the left hand. I'm going to use my tune, Dawn Dream, as an example. That piece is also up on our YouTube channel if you want to hear the full composition. But it began as an improv piece, and I started with this pattern in my left hand. So I'll show you just the intro from that piece so you can get an idea of what we're going to do. So it starts with that 5-count rhythm that's just moving along, and it's very fun to come up with things in your right hand on top of that. So playing in 5 on the harp, a good place to start is to play a group of 5 notes continuously instead of putting any rests or pauses in there, so you can get used to feeling that pulsing rhythm of the 5 counts. So you're gonna pick 5 notes and they're all gonna be the same. So you could go fast like that or slow it down. And what I like to do is either play a group of 3 followed by a group of 2, or a group of 2 followed by a group of 3. So we're gonna divide our 5 beats into 2 groups like that. So in my composition, I did 3 and then 2. My 3 notes going up were C, G, C. And then my group of 2 was A, D. So I did kind of like an open C chord and then a little 4th afterward. And then you can feel that pulse, and it feels like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So once you get that pulse, you can kind of lean into it with that first long chord and then a little short 4th afterward. But you could also reverse it and try the other way of feeling the 5, where you put 2 counts and then 3 afterward. So you could start with something like a 5th. I'm gonna shift over to D Dorian. My harp's tuned all natural right now. So I'm gonna use D A, play this 5th to get my 2 beats, and then I'm going to shift down to an open C chord and play C, G, C for the final 3 beats. So it's going to feel like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's another great way of playing 5. So D, A, and then C, G, C. And here's how it sounds. Have your 5 counts going. So once you get that going, you pick a group of 3 and a group of 2 and see if your left hand can keep playing those little patterns. Then you can start adding some right hand. And an easy way to throw in some right hand is to actually start with little rolls on top, and you just do them wherever your left hand changes. So using the example I just showed you of a fifth on D, and then an open C chord as the two positions, your right hand could do rolls from D minor chords and C chords using different inversions, whatever inversions you want, or just even single notes that go with those chords. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So starting with the D. We're just putting some rolls on top. And I'm shifting between different versions of a D minor and a C, but you can also simplify it and do little shapes. So maybe thirds and fourths and fifths. And sixths. So that's a somewhat easy way to start once you have your left hand pattern figured out. So that was 2 beats and then 3. And let's go back to my original example, which was 3 beats and then 2. So in my piece, I play C, G, C, A, D. And then in my right hand, I did something a little kooky. I really love doing these polyrhythmic things when I improvise, and there's some other videos on here where I show you how to do that. But what I did in my piece was I picked 3 notes in my right hand. I played C, G, C to start. And the notes go up over and over again in a circle in the right hand, while the left hand is doing this 5-beat pattern. And I keep my right hand on C, G, C for most of the time, but then when I shift to my other chord in my left hand, I'll shift 1 note in my right hand so it sounds better with the left. So I'll show you my second chord pattern, where I already showed you the first one. The notes I'm shifting to in the left hand in my piece, I shift to C, F, C, G, D. So that's the second pattern I do, and I go back and forth between those 2 patterns. And so it kind of sounds like a C chord, and then it kind of sounds like an F chord with a C on the bottom, and it goes back and forth. So my right hand, the fun part I added was going C, G, C, and then C, F, C. And it goes at the same time as the left, and they start to overlap because the 3 notes are overlapping with the pattern of 5. So sometimes they line up, and sometimes they sound like they're offset, and it's just fun. So you can try this when you get used to your left hand doing a pattern of 5. You can try overlapping 3 in the right if you want. Or if you want to confuse yourself, you can try this too. Okay, so here's my 5, and then I'm going to add the 3 on top. So my left hand is playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my right hand is playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's kind of the advanced part of this, but if you've already done polyrhythmic things on the harp, that won't be hard for you, because if you've tried 3 against 4, your right hand already knows what to do. So that's for, if you've already done those other videos, you might want to try that. But back to the 5. So laying a foundation for 5 in your left hand, And then improvising your right is so fun, and it's great to stay in some sort of modal scale. So actually, when you're starting to do this, even though I wrote my tune in C major, it's a little easier, I think, if you move up to D Dorian, or if you want to try G Mixolydian and move to G. That's the Mixolydian scale. If you're tuned, if you're all in naturals, move to G and you'll get your Mixolydian scale, because that's another really easy scale for improv to start out. And what you could do is you could use the G chord and the F chord and just go back and forth from G to F. So if you were doing 3 notes and then 2 to get your 5, you could do G, D, G, and then drop down for F, C to get your 5 counts. G, D, G, F, C. The 2 counts first and then 3. So you would start with a 5th on G, G, D, and then switch to this shape for the F chord, F, C, F. So you do the little chord first, then you get that other rhythm. Forget to switch with the shapes, but that's just because I haven't come up with my pattern that I want to hold on to for that. But once you decide which one you like and you keep switching between 5ths and this octave and a 5th, the switching between these fingers can really help you keep track of the rhythm. So switching from a 5th to this octave and a 5th, and you're folding your 2 when you're playing a 5th, and then you're folding finger 3 when you go 4, 2, 1. It's just, I think making things very physical helps with keeping track of unusual rhythms. So that's a good thing to pay attention to when you're trying to play in 5. And also, don't hold your hands very still. See if you can flow with the music a little bit, because that'll help you internalize the rhythm. So you don't want to grip and you don't want to hold your arms still when you're figuring this out. Tune into the feeling in your left hand of flowing between the 2 shapes. So if I'm on a 5th, I'm doing this, and then when I'm switching to the octave in the 5th, you can see how my arm's moving. Digging into that bottom note, that really helps you feel it. So if you're not used to playing harp that way, don't worry about it, but it is a good helpful thing when you're trying rhythms that are outside of whatever your norm is, to really feel it in your arms, and that internalizes it in your body more, and you can come up with some fun creative things out of that. So I hope this was fun and that you explore improvising and writing music in 5. Thanks.
This video is produced by the New Orleans Chapter of the American Harp Society. It is funded in part by a community partnership grant of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation and a small arts organization CARES Relief Grant from the Louisiana Division of the Arts, Office of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, Louisiana State Arts Council. Funding is also provided by the National Endowment for the Arts and Kamak Harps. Our audio and video producer is Carlos Valladares. You can make a donation to help us continue this series by making a tax-deductible contribution to us through PayPal to nochapterahs@gmail.com. For more information, go to our website, neworleansjazzharp.com.